We're going to test each of those solutions that I just made in those test tubes with some hydrochloric acid. I want to see how these substances react with an acid. So we'll start with A. Again, A was a clear solution. I'm going to pour some of this into the beaker here, and we'll see if we see any evidence of chemical change when we put substance A into an acid. So I don't know if you could see that very well, but I'll put a little bit of solid A in there just in case that was not clear what that reaction was. So lots of bubbling and fizzing when A is reacted with an acid. Here's the same test for substance B. I'll try to put this so you can see it again. And when I put substance B in the acid, there appears to be no evidence of chemical change. I'll put a little solid B in there just to be consistent with what we just did. And if I take that and mix it up, there is no evidence of chemical change. And now substance C. Again, it was a clear solution going into some hydrochloric acid. And with the solution, there was no evidence of chemical change. Let me take a little bit of solid C. Make sure I've got C here. Solid C going into the acid. And still no evidence of chemical change. Now substance D, you remember, was insoluble in water, so I'm going to shake it back up again and I'll pour it in here. Because I'm sure some of that solid settled to the bottom while that test tube was sitting. And again, this is substance D with an acid. And what was insoluble, pour it all in there. It appears that we don't have a precipitate anymore, or a solid anymore, so let me add a little bit of just the solid D in there. Need to add this just to make sure we don't have a dilution going on here. And so here's some solid D. There's a little bit of fizzing going on there, which we didn't detect when we put the solution in. Maybe because the solution was so dilute. But there is definitely evidence of chemical change. There's a gas being produced when substance D is reacted with an acid.